In this lecture, you will learn how Spring Boot auto-configures everything that is required for our application depending on what is there on the class path of our application. So you're finally going to see all the magic that happens behind the scenes. Go to your product REST API project. If you go to the Maven dependencies section, there is a special jar file here called Spring Boot Auto Configure. This is the jar file which does all that magic. Within this jar file, if you expand it, there are different packages. All of them have this common auto configure. If you look at them, for each module in Spring, starting with admin, AOP, caching, even JPA, Spring Data, etc. For each of the modules, web module that Spring offers, there is a auto configuration package with a set of classes inside them. And the key class in each of these packages is this class that ends with auto configure. You see here Cassandra data auto configuration. So if we are using JPA repositories or Spring Data, if you do a Control Shift T or Command Shift T on a Mac and search for JPA repositories auto configuration, you see that class right there, JPA repositories auto configuration. Open that up, and this class has several annotations on them. So Spring at runtime, Spring Boot will look at the set of dependencies that are there on the class path, all these jars, and if it finds Spring Data related jar files and classes, it will automatically enable all the configuration by using the following auto configuration class. So before Spring Boot, we had to do all this manually, either using Java configuration like this or through XML configuration. But Spring Boot creates all this Java based configuration beforehand. The developers at Spring have done it for us, and these will be enabled dynamically at runtime by Spring Boot depending on what's there on the class path. Another example, hit Command Shift T or Control Shift T, search for dispatcher star auto configuration, and you will find the dispatcher servlet auto configuration. This is for Spring MVC based web applications or Spring RESTful web applications. So all the configuration that is required for the dispatcher servlet, which is a key component in Spring Web World, is done in this class. Again, before Spring Boot, we had to configure the dispatcher servlet in the XML file or by using Java configuration like this. But now Spring Boot does it automatically for us depending on what is there on the class path. So to see it in action, go to the command line and run your project just like how you have done it before. Java-jar target folder / product REST API and then the jar file space. This time we are going to see the debug information --debug, so that Spring will print everything that happens on the console. Hit enter. It will run the application, but you will see a lot more information when the server starts. Once it finishes, we are going to grab this, put it in a text file. So here you see the matching that Spring Boot is trying to do. Do a Control A, Control C, go to your favorite text editor, paste the contents, go all the way up and search for JPA repositories, and you will see JPA repositories auto configuration matched. See that? So Spring Boot, because we have Spring Data on the class path, it searches for this auto configuration. Since it matches it, it will enable that for us, and Spring will configure the data source and make our entities and repositories ready for the application. Similarly, you can also search for dispatcher servlet. As you can see, web MVC auto configuration, dispatcher servlet. Automatically the dispatcher servlet configuration will be done for us. Similarly, you can search for Jackson, etc. So Jackson, there we go, Jackson auto configuration, because it finds Jackson on the class path, and Jackson is responsible for doing the serialization and deserialization of JSON objects into Java and vice versa. So all that comes to us for free just by adding that single starter dependency. These jars are pulled, and once we have these jars, Spring Boot at runtime will look at these jars and the classes inside them and enables the configuration like this, so that we need not do it manually. And at any point, if you want to disable one of these configurations, which is rare, you can always do that. Go to your application class, the starting point of your Spring Boot application. Use the enable auto configuration annotation, which is not usually required, but if you want to disable a certain auto configuration, only then you will use this annotation. This annotation comes for free when we use Spring Boot application, but since we want to override it, we have to explicitly specify it. Use the exclude attribute is equal to, this exclude attribute takes an array of classes, and that class is nothing but the auto configuration which you want to disable. For example, data source auto configuration dot class. So now when we run our application, Spring Boot will not automatically configure the data source for our application, even when it finds database related jars and configuration in our project's class path. So in this lecture, you have learnt all the magic that Spring Boot does behind the scenes. It looks at the class path, and using this auto configurer module, it will enable the respective configurations for our project. And if you want to disable them at any point, use the enable auto configuration annotation within brackets exclude and the appropriate annotation or appropriate configuration class.